This is the Strip Sack Dualcast. I'm the Hawk.
That was a very patriotic ass whooping, and I'm the Fat Man.
Man, it's like the end of a dynasty. It's beautiful. Just remember when the Patriots used to do this to the Bills. I bet Bills fans are extremely happy. But on to it. 38 Bills, Patriots 9. Josh Allen keeping his case for MVP, 27 for 36, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, 9 receptions, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the Patriots, 56 yards passing total with Cam Newton and Stidham. Trash.
Let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
if we're
I'm just saying he's going to case.
Or if we're going to go the conspiracy route, as I always say, it's the guy who sells the most jerseys, and that's Tom Brady.
There we go again.
But listen, all this is setting up. So a bunch of the Patriots starters opted out because of COVID and blah, 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 blah. All it's setting us up for is next year to complete the story. It's going to be a father-son Super Bowl, Big Daddy Bill, spanking little Tommy with Jimmy G at quarterback. It's written.
We will see. You know,
It's written.
You got your things with Jimmy G going on. You got all the other shit going on. You never know.
No, I know. I'm telling you now. I'm calling it today. Next year, Jimmy G's on the Patriots. It's going to be a Patriots-Bucs Super Bowl. Big Daddy Bill's going to spank little son Tommy.
Oh, there you go, folks. Write it down. Put it on record. The Fat Man says it's going to happen. This is what the Fat Man says.
The conspiracy. I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm scared about the Bills because they look pretty goddamn good.
Yes, they fucking do. It's going to be a huge game next week for the Dolphins. You better just hope that, that y'all could keep up.
I think they're going to sit everybody.
Well,
the Bills are going to sit everybody.
They still have to fight for the number 2 seed, so I don't see them sitting. I'm just being realistic.
So what's the benefit of fighting for the number 2 seed? They're going to fight for the number 2 seed. They get the number 2 seed. We go into the next week. Miami will be the 7th seed, and they'll have to play Miami again in a rubber match. Hopefully.
The point of the 2 seed is to keep at least 2 games of home field. That's the point. So they're going to do it. Sorry to tell you.
Nah.
You could pray all you want. Moving on.
I'm praying to Allah and Buddha and Angelina.
All right. Power rankings for week 17. Number 1, I got the Buffalo Bills. They got a high-powered offense. You got Josh Allen on fire. They really do look like the best team in the NFL right now.
Man, you're riding that Bills high. You were so excited to get into it. I usually go first. I usually throw the first punch. You just got Josh Allen running all over down your face, neck, and chest, don't you? So number 1, I say it all the time. I know they're having a rough December. You're the champ until you're not. It's still Kansas City.
Number 2, I got the Green Bay Packers. They're looking like the best team in the NFC, and they need a win to be the number 1 seed throughout the playoffs there, and I've already mentioned it. Nobody wants to go to Lambeau.
So number 2 is where I'll put Buffalo. I think there's more potential in Buffalo for a blizzard if you get that home field game than there is in Green Bay. I think Buffalo looks a little bit better. That's not a knock on Green Bay. It's AFC East biased.
Number 3. This is where I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I got them falling 2 spots. They've had a rough December. They're squeaking by in games. Patrick Mahomes is an 89 rating throughout this month. They got a little bit of question marks going into the playoffs.
Number 3 is where I put the Packers. I already said it. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP. Devontae Adams is playing out of his mind. They found a running game. They found a way to stop the running game. We saw them shut down Derrick Henry as much as you possibly could. So I like Green Bay at 3. I could see them in the Super Bowl.
Number 4, the Seahawks. You know, the defense is still on its worst to first campaign. It was on full display against the Rams. And, man, this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. I like the 3 Pro Bowl picks. I'm a pretty happy Hawk.
So 4 is where I put New Orleans after the ass whooping they threw up the other night against Minnesota. I think New Orleans can go on a tear, and I said it before. This is probably going to be Breeze's last season, so he's a man on fire. He wants another ring before he goes, so he's got something to play for.
Number 5, this is where I put New Orleans. You know, I don't even want to talk about them because I'm still mad. I'm fucking pissed. You know what? Fuck you, Sean Payton. It should have been 7 touchdowns for Kamara, and that's all I have for that.
5 is where I put Seattle. Like I said, the defense turned around, worst first. If they get that offense and defense clicking together, you're not going to stop them. I still don't think that we've seen a complete game out of Seattle where both sides of the ball are going at it at the same time.
Number 6, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their offense is on fire. You know, I've already said it. It's really tough to beat Brady in January. That's what I got.
This might be where we start agreeing because 6 is where I put Tampa. For a couple of weeks, they had fallen off the list, but you know, it's Brady season. Everyone calls it the holiday season. No, it's Brady season. This is when he starts lighting it up.
Number 7, I got the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
They had a flashy win against the Raiders. Fitzmagic with the no-looker. You know, we all thought
it was almost a no-header, no-looker.
Yeah, it would have been beheaded throwing that pass. You know, they came back there. I like what Flores is doing with his 2 quarterbacks. I like that both of them are on the same page. They do have the number 1 defense in points per game. They bend a lot. They don't break. You know, they have a ton of takeaways. That's success.
So I just want to explain something to everyone out there for offensive lineman perspective that is out there saying, I've seen it on a bunch of different forums of, well, the dude was holding on to play when the lineman was holding when Fitz almost got his head ripped off. No, he wasn't. As long as you're inside, you're good. Not only that, you can't grab with your hands. Dude's fist was closed. Yeah, he had the guy around the neck, but the guy was falling. It wasn't holding, and he still tried ripping Fitz's head off. That's enough of that. 7 is where I put Pittsburgh. I kind of thought we were going to start agreeing on everything here, but Pittsburgh got a big win over the Colts. They're not dead yet. They got a lot of drops. All they got to do is hold on to the football and maybe run the football a little bit more because they seem to have forgotten how to do that. I don't think they're going to go too deep in the playoffs, but right now they're at 7.
Number 8, I got the Steelers. It was a huge win, just like you said. I mean, Tomlin is showing his greatest strength, and so is Ben, and that's fixing issues on the offense. You look at the first 2.5 quarters of that Colts game, and they stopped doing the dink and dunk, and they started going over top, and that's what they needed to do. This is why they went 1-3 in December, which is also why I got the Dolphins ahead of them because they went 3-1 in December.
8 is where I put Miami. I mean, come on, we know why. We know why.
Number 9, I got the Titans. Yeah, that was a bust ass against the Packers. But really, this all comes down to the example of why no team wants to go to Lambeau, and I just can't stress that enough.
Number 9 is where I put Baltimore, actually. Showing a little love to that running back that can throw it every once in a while. I think Baltimore looks pretty good, even if they are pretty much one-dimensional. I think they're going to be a tough team to stop, and they're hard-nosed, man. I see them eking out a couple wins.
All right, number 10, rounding out the last of the top 10 here, I also have the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar's on fire. The defense is playing tough. I mean, this is a team that's poised to make a playoff run and get Lamar's first playoff win.
Maybe. He still has to prove that to me.
Yep.
Go ahead. Say it. I know you want to say it.
I'm not saying it.
Say it.
Nope.
How long did it take Peyton Manning to get a playoff win?
All the way to 2004.
So 10 is actually where I put Tennessee. So it was kind of nice to see that we have the same teams. We just flip-flopped them around the whole way down.
Yep.
You know, I've said it 100 times. How Derrick Henry goes on Sunday is what the win-loss column looks like on Monday. If you could shut Henry down, there's no shutting him down, but if you could bottle him up and force Tannehill to win the game, the Titans are going to lose.
The end.
Every time. And I get it. A lot of people are saying, we got to get on board. Tannehill's a good quarterback, top 10, blah, 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 blah. Just look at the stats. Your stats don't mean shit when you have everybody lining up in the box to stop Derrick Henry. Take Derrick Henry away and see what his stats look like. They're going to look like they did in Miami.
And that there, folks, is the Fat Man hating on Ryan Tannehill.
All day.
Love it. All right, some BS starting up first, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Washington releases Dwayne Haskins.
Look, Dwayne Haskins was a bum in college. Y'all got the wool pulled over your eyes. I watched Dwayne Haskins in his college career play one game, and it was against my Nittany Lions. They put heat on him, and he fell apart. That is not a recipe for success in the NFL when everybody can put heat on you. The guy's a bum. I'm surprised it took this long to get released. He should have been a 7th-round draft pick, not a 1st-round draft pick. This just goes to show how inept Washington's front office is.
Fun fact, Ron Rivera gets released from the Panthers when he loses to Dwayne Haskins from last year.
Irony.
Then Ron Rivera releases Dwayne Haskins when he loses to the Panthers this year. Good for you, Ron.
That payback's a bitch. Not only that, I think what really did him in with Ron was, that little thing with the face mask out at the nightclub the other night. Especially since Ron just went through a few weeks of cancer treatments, weakened immune system, and the guy who's supposed to be a leader of your football team is out there doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's something that they don't want to see, and he punished them correctly, and with the poor performance this game, this was earned. See ya.
The 40 grand was a little harsh. That's a big chunk of change.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right.
Oh yeah, and all you people out there who are pumping up Justin Fields, Ohio State's quarterback now, pumping him up, putting him up there behind Trevor Lawrence, y'all are smoking crack. Tell me one Ohio State quarterback that's done good in the NFL.
I like it. The hottest quarterback in the NFL right now, this month of December. What do you got?
Hey, man, I like Mitchell Trubisky. I was just sitting here looking up some of his stats. I think he's got 12 or 13 touchdowns since he came back in, 4 interceptions. He's playing for a playoff spot. I think he knows he's playing for his career.
Yep, in the month of December alone, he's got 7 touchdowns and 2 picks. They went from an offense that was competing with the Jets, and we've been giving Nagy shit and all that for the entirety of this podcast. But, I mean, over this 4-game span, they've averaged 35 points a game. That's pretty impressive, and it's scary with that defense.
I seen on one of the other groups we follow or forums or something that they compared him to maybe the 07 Giants, a great defense with a mediocre offense. But that's enough to win you a Super Bowl. We've seen Baltimore do it.
And I really hope not, because I want Seattle.
Well, the first thing is they got to get in, right? They might have waited a little too long to put Mitch back in.
Yes. Another one for me, the reigning unanimous MVP, Lamar Jackson, the running back. The Ravens are averaging 37 points a game in December. He's at 8 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's had at least a passer rating of over 100 in that span. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns and 333 rushing yards. Impressive.
See, I just have a hard time. My definition of hot and most people's is a little bit different this time of year, because I have a hard time when you have a guy, Lamar Jackson, a reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers. The guy wakes up in the morning and first thing he does is he pisses greatness. Like, the guy's that damn good. You know, you got guys like Patrick Mahomes. So when the level of expectation is to be great every game, it's hard for me to call you hot because I expect it. Now, when I see somebody like Trubisky, who is basically dead, and a lot of Bears fans don't even like the guy, who was basically dead, gets yanked 6 games into the season for Nick Foles. I think it was 6 games.
4. They were
You're
2-1 at the time. It was in their 4th game, and they
Oh,
pulled him,
okay.
and he came back and won the game. Well, Nick Foles did.
Well, you're basically can figure, you know, this guy's career in Chicago was dead. Foles goes down, he comes in, and he's been playing great ever since. You know, he's really hot right now. I look for that mediocre to below average guy who just gets on a tear and could, like I said, gets hot, gets that streak. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick is the main guy I think of, a guy whose averages his whole career, but he can get on a hot streak where he's just looks like a superstar for 4 games and then comes out and throws you 6 interceptions and a half. But that's kind of what I expect to see out of Trubisky. He's hot right now, but when he comes back down to earth, he's going to be Trubisky.
Yeah, and it's a very valid point to think that way because, you got Rodgers just lighting it up all year. He's probably going to win the MVP. There's almost no question to it. I think Allen does have a slight argument, though, the way he's been playing over the last 7 games. Regardless, this is things that we come to expect from him. We're starting to expect this from Josh Allen. My thing with Lamar is the biggest hate on him is, he was struggling in the middle part of the season. They dropped down to 6-5. They didn't really give him a shot at making the playoffs, and they just racked up 4 straight wins. And now they're a problem. They look hot. No team in the AFC really wants to play them. And they control their destiny going in. And, it is what it is.
I still go back when I talk about Aaron Rodgers. I still talk about that soundbite I seen from the Pat McAfee podcast where he's like, my bad season is a great season for most quarterbacks, and he's right. So
not even a lie.
When the expectation is that, like, there's certain guys that you could put on that level. Like I said, the Brady's, Mahomes, Rodgers. Once they're up at that elite level, it's hard to say, oh, well, they're on a hot streak. Like I don't get too out of whack even when they get cold. Like Mahomes has been cold for a couple of weeks, but he's going to go. I'd rather have a guy who's hot all the time go through a cold streak than a guy who's cold all the time go through have a hot streak, because eventually it's that shooter's chance, that puncher's chance. Eventually he's going to get out of that slump and he's going to be off and running again.
Yep, that's true. I feel the same way about Wilson. He's in a little bit of a cold streak, but I just know, he's going to light it up in the postseason. I've seen him do it before. I know he's had one really bad game in the postseason. That was it. But I'm telling you, he's going to be phenomenal in January. And I can't wait.
One interception on the 2-yard line.
Holy fucking Christ. We should probably change the podcast name to that. An interception on the goal line, because I hear it every freaking week.
That's actually not a bad name for a podcast.
I guess.
Goal line INT.
All right, we're gonna play a little bit of a game here before we jump off. I'm gonna name a team, and the Fat Man's gonna say if this team has the potential to win the Super Bowl this year, or if they don't. First one, Miami Dolphins.
No, they don't. The offense is too inconsistent. The offense isn't quite strong enough yet. They don't really have any playmakers. I love me some Tua. I love the fact that Tua and Fitz are getting along and they understand the dynamic. It's cold hand, hot hand. Whoever's cold gets replaced by somebody else to try and get something going and get hot, and that's fine. I've watched it in college for years. That defense is outstanding. I think as long as they keep the pieces together, I'll be a happy man. But they need some more playmakers on offense, and they have enough draft capital to do it. As long as the Texans keep dropping games, we have a really high pick.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. They get to draft top 5 in the draft next year. It's gonna happen.
Well, the other piece is that the nice part about having that top 5 pick is you don't necessarily need to take somebody that high. You could trade out of it. You could trade out of it and get even more capital.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, it was a really smart play.
I mean,
Never
did
thought
anybody see the Texans have a top 5 draft pick though?
I'm going to be honest. Like, I was really butthurt when that trade went down because I love me some Laramie Tunsil. Ever since draft night, when the pictures were circulating of him with the gas mask on, inhaling some ganj.
All right, up next.
Well, what's your take on the Dolphins? You're not just going to throw these at me, and I want to hear your
I
spin.
agreed with you, you weirdo.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they're a couple pieces away. I think my big thing with the Dolphins is they need to boost their offense. They need an offense to work with that defense. I want to see him take a number 1 wide receiver in the first round, or use that pick as capital to get potentially a number 1 wide receiver. That's what I want to see.
I want a beast of a running back. That's what I want.
Yeah, there's that too. They do need a running back. We didn't get to see Ahmed do shit in the last game, which surprised me after having a 100-yard game the week before.
I wasn't surprised.
The Dolphins, I guess.
It's running back by committee. Just like they're doing with the quarterback. Whoever's got the hot hand. Like Myles Gaskin had a good game this week.
He did 160-some yards of total scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad game for him.
The week before it was Ahmed. It's whoever's got the hot hand.
Yep. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs.
Duh.
Durr.
I mean, they could score in 3 seconds from any spot on the field. Their defense isn't that great, but with that offense, yeah, they definitely have the potential.
I saw it last year, when they started getting hot going into the playoffs. I saw it, but I'm starting to not see it. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not going to say no for me, but I am saying I'm starting to not see it. They're struggling a little bit on offense. They're squeaking by on their wins, and they've been doing it for 7 straight weeks. They're going to be playing good teams in the playoffs, balanced teams. They need to get a running game, and they need to be balanced on offense. I'll tell you what, if they have a game like they did against Atlanta to any of those teams in the playoffs, any of those 10-5 teams, who knows who gets in, any of those 10-5 teams will beat them.
So this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to go back to something my dad said to me when I was like 12 about Marino.
Couch, kids.
Yeah, about Marino, and it's the same thing with Mahomes. It's like going to the candy store. Mahomes is the candy store. Andy Reid's a fat guy. He loves candy. So when you got Patrick Mahomes back there, you're just going to sling the ball all over the field because you got a guy that can do it. The crazy part is that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a pretty good running back. They signed Le'Veon Bell, and Damian Williams has played well for them. So it's not like they don't have anybody who could run the football. They just choose not to. And I don't know. I think they're just taking a break right now. They're taking it easy now. They're laying back, and then come playoff time, they're just going to blow somebody out of the water. When we saw it last year, they had in the Super Bowl they had to come back, and
they came back 3 straight times.
Yeah, and I want to say I know against the Titans they had a mount of comeback too. And the crazy thing is, they have all the talent to do it. That's what kind of almost makes you want to puke. They're never out of it. You want to talk about a puncher's chance.
Yep. All right, next, the Green Bay Packers.
Yes. Yes. I mean, like we saw them bottle up Derrick Henry, which is a feat all on its own, to be able to slow the guy down. I'm pretty sure they kept him under 100 yards. I want to say he only had about 98.
Yeah, I think you're right on
something
that.
like that. Accurate. And then it's, granted, they're not going to be playing Ryan Tannehill every week. But I think the bad matchup for Green Bay in the playoffs, maybe Tampa Bay, Seattle maybe. It depends on Seattle's defense. If they keep playing like they've been playing. But, yeah, I totally see Green Bay has everything they need to get there. Mm-hmm. It seems like they figured out that defense a little bit. So,
yep, I'm also going to say yes. Green Bay, the knock on them is not beating good teams, and now they're 2-2. They're proving that they could do it. And not only did they beat a good team, they slaughtered them. Brutalized them. It's horrible. And that's the thing. If they get the number 1 seed, people are going to have to go to Lambeau, the frozen tundra, and it's going to be difficult for any team to win there.
And I'm not sure that if they do meet Tampa Bay is definitely not going to steamroll them like they did earlier in the season.
Especially not on their field.
Yeah, you're not going to see that again. And, well, the other thing is, I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Brady's. You know, Brady, New England for 20 years. Antonio Brown played in Pittsburgh. It's fucking cold in Pittsburgh. Gronk played in New England. It's fucking cold in New England. So I don't think the weather will be as big of a factor against them. But, hey, any given Sunday.
The New Orleans Saints.
I think they're going to have a harder time than somebody like Green Bay. But, yeah, they have the potential to get there. Are we saying get there or get there and win it?
Win it.
Yeah, I've loved Drew Brees for a long time. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they can get there and win it. They're doing it for Drew.
Yeah, you have a guy like Drew Brees, Yeah, I could see them winning the Super Bowl. They have a lot of talent on defense, a very underrated defense. Not a lot of people talk about their defense. Their offense, as long as you have Brees, they'll be fine. The guy's thrown 80,000 yards in his freaking career. He lights it up.
Here's the thing that I'm sick of hearing about with Drew Brees is he doesn't throw it over the top. Well, you know what? Peyton Manning didn't throw it over the top his last 2 Super Bowl appearances either because he couldn't. The guy's old. Get off him. He's still accurate. He still makes the right reads. He's still good.
Yeah, not everybody's like the lizard Tom Brady.
No.
All right, up next, the Buffalo Bills. God,
Yeah.
let it sting.
Yeah. No, they absolutely. I could see them and Green Bay in the Super Bowl, honestly. I think I said a week or two ago that was my pick, Buffalo and Green Bay. We saw them just bust the shit out of the Patriots tonight.
Yeah, I also think that they have like a really, really good quarterback with Josh Allen. We saw tremendous growth with him in his 3rd season. Their offense is on a roll. Stephon Diggs, a great acquisition. Cole Beasley, he's even pretty good for them with the help of Stephon on the outside. He's had a really good season. That offense will be extremely hard to stop.
The only thing that scares me with Buffalo is lack of playoff experience.
Yeah, it's still young.
But I am worried about them this year and probably the next 5 years.
Yeah, hell, maybe even longer, depending on how well Josh Allen continues to progress.
We're getting back to the AFC East the way it was when I was a kid, talking about Miami and Buffalo every year. I like it.
Yep. All right, and the last one, the Seattle Seahawks.
Fuck no. Russell throw an interception on the goal line. No, I have a man crush on DK. I want to see him explode in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the one thing about great wide receivers is they do show up in the playoffs.
The thing that kind of scares me with Seattle is I don't know if you could really count on the run game.
We do have Chris Carson, and Rashad Penny's finally came back.
And the defense, they came on the last few weeks. As long as they keep it up, they're definitely playing better. And Jamal Adams, he's a fucking beast. You still got Bobby Wagner. They can get there, but the Bills will stomp them.
Hard to beat a team twice, but I'm going to be as realistic as possible with it. Seattle, they get the offense rolling. If Russell goes back to form like he was in the first 6 weeks of the season, they're going to be unbeatable. They won't stop this team. They've got their defense rolling. Their defense is scary now going into the playoffs. It's gotten hot at the right time. My only issue with it is the inconsistency on offense as of recent weeks. But, it's like we mentioned earlier in the podcast. A lot of it has to do with, a really good quarterback that's hot all the time, and he's on a little bit of a cold streak. And I won't be surprised if he starts picking it up, even next week and going into the playoffs.
Is the only goddamn team I said no to Miami?
Yep. All 5 of the other teams, you were like, yep.
Wow. See, you could tell I'm not a fucking fanboy. What about the Steelers, bud? We didn't throw no Steelers shade.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to agree.
And I say no is because, unlike Breeze and those guys, like I feel like Ben's age really, really, really shows. He did have a good game against the Colts, but, he needs to stretch the field next week against the Browns. I think the Browns have a potential to win this game. I think they have a good shot of winning this game. And I really feel like the Steelers will struggle a little bit in the playoffs playing a lot of these teams that are balanced.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. The reason I can't see Pittsburgh doing it is they throw the damn ball too much. It's like they don't even try to run it. And, 2 or 3 of their defensive starters are out. That makes it even harder. And you can't they got too many drops. Too many drops.
Yeah, I think that's something that you could fix, though. I don't think that's something that will plague you forever. I mean,
It's
look at Nelson
something
Aguilar. That guy did nothing but drop the ball for Philadelphia. Now look at him. I bet they're just like, where was this guy in Philly?
Well, yeah,
it's up for the Raiders.
It's something you can fix, but it makes it a lot harder to fix it in Pittsburgh when it's wet and raining and cold. Makes the ball even more slippery. They can't hold on to the damn thing when it's dry. Juju just needs to come out and do his TikTok dances.
All right, man. That's everything I got.
That's it. Well, what the hell? We already covered seven of the teams. You want to talk about the rest or not?
All right, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Tom, the Brady Bunch. No, not this year because they're gonna be in the Super Bowl next year.
I shouldn't even mention anything.
I stand by that statement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay does. I think they could go to the Super Bowl. I think they could win it. Just depending on what team shows up which week, because like Seattle and the Rams, they are inconsistent. But yeah, they got the pieces.
Just so you know, if I don't wake up tomorrow, the NFL guys got me for busting their storyline for next year.
How about the Baltimore Ravens?
No. Too one-dimensional, too much on Lamar's plate. Defense isn't solid enough. They're a couple pieces away.
I feel like they're kind of like the Dolphins in that they
pieces away.
They need a true number one running back, not named Lamar. They need a true number one wide receiver because I don't think Hollywood Brown is the guy. They're a couple pieces away on offense, and I think defense, they need to boost that defensive line, and I think they'll be all right. We missing anybody?
I think we just covered the AFC. No.
Only because I don't like Tannehill.
I like his wife though. I said it 100 times. You stop Derrick Henry. Can't stop him. He's like Jordan. You can only hope to contain him. Slow him down. And sorry, but the Titans aren't going to win. Because that essentially forces the team to be one-dimensional, and I don't think Tannehill has enough talent to win the game. I don't think he's elite. He's above average. Just the same thing I said when he was in Miami.
I don't think they can win a Super Bowl without a pass rush. They have like no pass rush, and it shows. In certain games. That's why they got busted by so many different teams this year. The Packers, the Browns, the Colts at one point. Like they just need a pass rush. They have a really good run game, obviously, with King Henry. They can control the tempo of a game, but they need a pass rush. And, without it, I don't see it happening.
I'm glad you brought up pass rush. J.J. Watt seems super unhappy in Houston.
Yep, coming to Seattle.
What if he ends up in a Titans jersey next season?
Nope, Seahawks.
Take the fan bias out of it.
Seahawks. Listen, I'll be honest. If J.J. Watt goes to the Seahawks, I'll be just like you, and I'm going to have to go get myself a jersey of J.J. Watt immediately.
I only did that with Tua, man. Calm down. Oh, I did it with Sue, too.
Yeah, immediately. I won't even wait on it. I wouldn't even care about what he did. I would definitely get that jersey. Yes, J.J. Watt, come to the Seahawks.
And I waited till Tua started his first game.
Okay, we'll put a couple sleepers in here. I'll start with Arizona.
No. They're not even going to I don't even know if they're going to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just go on the basis of if they do get in.
Okay, the answer is still no.
Okay.
No defense. No running game. All they have is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, D-Hop, Larry Fitz, and Kirk is the other kid. But no.
I'm going to be on the other side of this and probably be the only one of the sleepers that I'm going to say yes to. But yes, I do think the Arizona Cardinals could win a Super Bowl this year. And it is because of the dynamic play of Kyler Murray on offense. But also, that I became a fan of Lance Joseph. And I really think he's going to dial it in. If he makes the playoffs, he will dial it in. It'll be really, really tough for teams to beat that defense. They have a really solid secondary of Patrick Peterson and the underrated Budda Baker. They got the pieces on both sides of the ball. And, Kyler, I know he's young. And Kingsbury, they're going to do this. If they get in, they're going to be tough, and I definitely don't want to see them a third time. I hate to say it, but Arizona does have a shot this year if they get in.
Man, I remember you talking all kind of shit about Patrick Peterson.
I fucking hate him, all right?
What about the Colts? What about the Colts?
For me, I'm going to say okay, so they have a good young safety. They got a lot of pieces that are very young running back. I don't really see them actually winning a playoff game if they make it in, unless it's against Pittsburgh. And I think that team matches up really well against Pittsburgh, and I don't see them losing a second time. But no, Phillip Rivers with his pass in the playoffs, no go for me.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason Phillip Rivers is still playing is he wants a ring. Listen, I love Phillip Rivers' mouth. I don't always love his play. You want to talk about a guy that goes hot and cold? I don't think the Colts can. I don't think the Colts could win it either.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to throw them out there because I know they're on the bubble.
The Cleveland Browns.
That's where I was going. I was going to say we didn't talk about Cleveland. Let's see. Are they going to remember how to run the football?
Are you going to do that, Stefanski? Are you going to remember?
I mean, their whole receiving core was out, and they still decided to throw the ball 50 times. Yeah. When you got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb back there just chomping at the bit. And I know we had a conversation with a Browns fan. Was talking about the Jets putting 8, 9 guys in the box. Well, there's ways around that. They have these plays called counters and outside sweeps,
pitches,
halfback screens. So you could fool an 8 or 9 guy box. You're not telling me that teams don't stack 8, 9 guys in against Derrick Henry all season long. Mm-hmm. If they run the ball and Baker plays like he was before this week, I could definitely see them getting there. I could see them getting there.
I'm going to say that they absolutely could run the gauntlet. I hate sounding like a broken record, but the D-line is the complete opposite of what Tennessee has over there. Myles Garrett, Oliver Vernon, Sheldon Richardson. That's a great defensive line. And they're gonna apply pressure, and the pressure is on in the playoffs. People are gonna be fidgety, they're gonna be flustered, and those guys are just gonna eat. And they're gonna have their wide receivers back. They're gonna find their run game, and Baker's gonna play like he was the 4 games previous. And he'd probably be a guy that we would talk about this week if he didn't have to run into those COVID issues with wide receivers. But I'm going to agree with you. They could get there. They can run the gauntlet in the AFC for sure. All right, here's another one for you. Chicago.
God damn it. This is where I got to eat my own shit. I'm going to say no, because I don't believe in that offense at all, even though they've been hot. That defense is pretty good. And I always say defense wins championships. But no, I don't think Chicago can get there. I think they need more pieces than Miami.
Yeah, I think the comparison to the 2007 Giants, I think that is more relatable to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think that the Chicago Bears are quite there yet. I need to see Mitchell keep doing this. Yes, 4 games, great, fantastic. But I want to see him keep doing it. I want him to get to the standard of where he was drafted at, and not to the point of, the guy is Rex Grossman or Kyle Orton.
Always got to throw Rex Grossman in there, man.
Yeah. I think that's about it for all the teams. I think we went through all of them.
I think we covered it.
Oh, wait, we do have one more. And it's only if they get in now, because they potentially won't get in. The Los Angeles Rams.
Hey, you know what else? We didn't talk about any NFC East teams.
Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, yeah, we'll throw that in there after that. So Rams first.
No, they lost to the fucking Jets. Get the fuck out of here. They shouldn't even be considered. You fucking lose to the Jets, you're automatically out of the playoffs. Sit the fuck down.
I say no. And the only piece they're missing is a quarterback.
Ouch.
Sorry,
Well,
Goff.
that's the other piece. Yeah, well, he's out anyway. He just had surgery on his thumb.
Good.
Even they know they can't get to the Super Bowl.
We're going to go with the hottest team in the East right now.
Dallas Cowboys.
I want to talk about all of them. But it's the Dallas Cowboys. Red Rocket.
The Red Rocket. I'm going to say no. But they're going to be one and done. But I'm going to follow it up with, does Dallas bring the Red Rocket back next year? Because I think he only signed a 1-year deal. Do they bring him back and let Dak kind of test the market?
If Dallas gets in.
Does the Red Rocket go somewhere and play well next year? Maybe he goes to LA.
Or maybe he's the one that goes to the New England Patriots.
Or he goes to the Colts.
This is what I'll say. No, I don't see them going to the Super Bowl if they make the playoffs, obviously. But I'm going to go with the years past, that the team with the losing record that makes the playoffs wins a playoff game. I think they do win one. And unfortunately for the Buccaneers, it might be them. But I think that if Dalton wins a playoff game, not only giving him a playoff game, but he's actually got a winning record as a starter on the Dallas Cowboys. He's played really well in the month of December. I mean, honestly, we saw the quarterbacks that got to a new team, how they performed. Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. These guys took a little bit to get comfortable, to get better. And we kind of didn't give Dalton that type of chance. And now that he's starting to get on fire, he's looking pretty damn good, and that defense is stout. And if you look at stout as of lately, they're not actually really good. Their season's been shit. But if you look at the way Dalton's been performing, it's going to be hard for me as a fan, looking on the outside in, to not keep Dalton. Why pay a guy $45 million a year when you could pay a guy 28 that could do the same fucking thing and win you a playoff game on his first chance?
Well, the other crazy part is we kind of forget that Andy Dalton had COVID issues this season too.
Yeah.
Like, he had COVID. He was out, I want to say 3 weeks.
Yeah, he got a concussion, then he got COVID.
So right there's your 3 weeks. So he got his bell rung, and then he couldn't breathe. How many brain cells got killed? Plus the recovery, like they say, okay, you get COVID, you test clean, you're good. There's still lingering shit afterwards, still lingering issues. So you could say he was probably not 100% for 5 weeks there. Yeah. How different would the season have looked had he been healthy through it all?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Dallas does have a winning record at this point in the season, or at least 500.
And that would make it really hard to say, oh, yeah, back up the Brinks truck for Dak.
I think that there has to be some type of a question mark there. I know some people are saying, oh, they're going to get better at passing. They're going to get better at passing. Dak has not played well with a lead now for 3 fucking straight seasons. I know he's got the numbers. I know that he's got the touchdowns. I know his rating is great. I know his touchdown interception ratio in the span is top 5 in the NFL. I get all that. But when the game is tied, or when they have the lead, he does not perform well. He needs Ezekiel Elliott to carry him. That's what Dak's problem is.
Well, I think Zeke needs Dak to carry him too. Oh, look at Zeke's season without Dak.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing. Zeke is starting to play better now that Dalton is playing a lot better.
But I don't think Dak is worth the money he wants. But no. I think he's worth keeping around. I mean, I like Dak. I think he's a decent quarterback. He may never be that superstar, way above average guy. Mm-hmm. But I think he's good enough with enough pieces around him. And let's be honest, that fucking receiving core in Dallas is more than good enough. Phenomenal. More than capable. But it's just, and this isn't hating on Dak. It's just, what do? You have Dalton, who came in and won all these games. You got a guy who's probably won't even be ready at the start of the season. After the surgeries and the recovery, like, that was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I just hope the guy comes back, and performs the same way that he did once he got hurt. I don't want to see him regress. He probably will, but I don't want to see it happen to the guy. I want to see him, move forward. I want to see the Dak that we've been seeing for the last 4 years. I don't want to see a change. And,
I'm just curious.
I hope the guy the best.
I'm just curious to see if he's going to have a little hitch in his giddy up.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, besides AP, like, every person that comes back looks a little slower.
Well, yeah, but AP was an ACL. Like, this was a frickin' obliterated ankle.
This was a no foot left.
Yeah. That shit was just dangling there.
All right, man. I think that's all the teams. You got something else you want to add?
I got nothing else.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys. As usual, you're watching us on the YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe, comment, like, and share it with all your friends. Bring them all aboard. Let them get some Fatman and Hawk. You can head on over, check us out on a Facebook page that we have created. It's Fatman and the Hawk. We also just got a Twitter account rolling, Strip Sack Dualcast, and we upload this to an audio podcast. You can get it on Spotify, iTunes, Google, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Jam us in your ear holes. We're going to make you have an eargasm.
All right, guys, we had a little bit of fun this week on the Fatman and the Hawk Facebook page. We all did picks. We did have a winner, Angel, with 3 losses. Congratulations to her. The Fat Man went 9-7.
It was
and
bad.
The Hawk went 10-6. So, we were 3 and 4 games behind you. Congratulations. Another shout out to the 32 NFL Warzone group. Great group. If you're not in it, look them up. Try search it. The admin there, great guy. If you like your content here on YouTube, comment, like, and subscribe. I am the Hawk.
And I'm the Fat Man.
See yous.